Go ahead, take a look at the laptop you might be watching this on. It's thin, it's light, you can pretty much take it anywhere, right? We completely take this for granted. But this whole piece of tech, this whole idea of portable computing, it really exists because of one single revolutionary component. One that we stare at every single day but probably never think about: the screen. And how we got it is this amazing story of light, power, and a total reinvention of what a screen even is. It really wasn't that long ago that this is what a computer looked like. I mean, just look at it. A massive, heavy box that was basically chained to a desk. The journey from that beige beast on the left to the sleek machine we all have today, well, it wasn't just about shrinking down computer chips. No, the real challenge, the one thing that stood in the way of portability, was the screen itself. So, that's the big question, isn't it? How in the world did we get from a box that owned your desk to a powerhouse that fits right in your backpack? And the answer, it's not just about making things smaller. It's about completely rethinking how a screen makes a picture in the first place.
Okay, so to really get the breakthrough, we have to look at what came before. For decades, and I mean decades, computer screens were dominated by something called the cathode ray tube, or CRT. And this piece of technology, this tube, was the #1 reason you couldn't just pick up your computer and go.
This slide really says it all. A CRT worked by shooting a beam of electrons from a huge electron gun at the back of the monitor. But to get that beam to paint the whole screen, the tube had to be really, really deep. And that meant the whole thing was incredibly deep, ridiculously heavy, and, you guessed it, it used a ton of power. And power? Well, that was the real killer. Firing that electron beam needed a massive amount of voltage. You just couldn't run a device like that on a battery, not for more than a few minutes anyway, if you were lucky. Portability was a complete non-starter. You had to be plugged into a wall, period. And then, this happened. This is where everything changed. A totally new technology came along that didn't fire electrons at all. It played with light in a completely different way, and it led to the single biggest breakthrough for portable computers: the liquid crystal display. The idea behind it is just brilliant. An LCD starts with a backlight, which is just a constant source of light. Then it passes that light through this layer of, well, liquid crystals. And by applying just a tiny bit of electricity, these crystals can twist and untwist. They act like millions of microscopic shutters that can either block the light or let it pass right through. No giant electron gun, no deep tube. Just a thin, super efficient sandwich of light and crystals. But, just inventing the LCD wasn't the end of it. Not by a long shot. The first laptop screens, they were slow, they were blurry, they were dim. Getting from that initial concept to the gorgeous displays we have today meant solving a whole series of really specific and, honestly, really frustrating problems. Oh man, if you ever used an early laptop, you know exactly what this is. You'd move your mouse cursor across the screen, and it would leave this ghostly, blurry trail behind it. It looked terrible. The liquid crystals just couldn't switch fast enough, creating this awful smearing effect that made using the computer a total pain. The solution was genius: thin film transistor technology, or TFT. What they did was, they essentially gave every single tiny pixel its very own microscopic on-off switch. This gave them precise, lightning-fast control, which completely got rid of that blur and gave us the crisp, instant response we totally expect today. All right, so the pixels were fast now. But the next problem was the light source itself. Early LCDs used something called CCFL backlights, which were basically just tiny fluorescent light tubes. And just like the big ones in an office ceiling, they were kind of bulky, pretty fragile, they sucked up a lot of power, and they burned out. So the next huge leap forward was replacing that fluorescent tube with a whole array of tiny, super efficient light-emitting diodes. Yeah, LEDs. And this change, it was massive. It let designers create ultra-slim laptops, it slashed power consumption so we could get longer battery life, and it made the screens way brighter and more reliable. A total game changer. Okay, last big hurdle: just being able to see the thing. With early laptop screens, if you weren't looking at it straight on, dead center, the image would get super dark, the colors would look all weird, or it would just go black. You had to find that one perfect sweet spot and then just not move. Not exactly practical for a portable device, right? The fix for this was in-plane switching, or IPS. It's a bit technical, but instead of the crystals just twisting up and down, IPS technology makes them rotate horizontally, kind of like little gates swinging open and closed. It's a small change, but it directs the light so much more evenly, giving us those wide, stable viewing angles, and the perfect colors we now take for granted on our phones and laptops.
So the screen got fast, it got thin, it got efficient, and it looked beautiful. But the impact of the LCD, it goes way beyond just the display. A better screen created this amazing domino effect that completely redefined the laptop from the inside out.
I mean, you can see the whole chain reaction right here. Once the screen became just a thin lid instead of a deep box, it suddenly freed up a ton of space inside the laptop's body. And what did engineers do? They immediately filled it. In went more powerful CPUs, dedicated graphics cards for gaming, and, this is huge, bigger batteries. A better screen literally made the entire computer better. And as factories got better and better at making them, high-quality LCDs got way cheaper. This price drop made laptops affordable for millions of people, and the market just exploded. Suddenly, it wasn't one size fits all anymore. We got laptops built specifically for the office, high-end machines for serious gaming, and color-accurate powerhouses for creative pros. And guess what? The innovation hasn't stopped. Today, we're pushing those boundaries even further. Cool new packaging techniques like chip-on-film or COF let designers tuck the screen's control chips underneath or wrap them around the display. This shrinks those black borders, the bezels, down to almost nothing, giving us those incredible edge-to-edge screens that look so futuristic. So the next time you flip open your laptop, just take a second and look at that screen. It's not just a window into your apps and websites. It's the key component that makes the whole idea of a portable computer possible. It is the result of decades of brilliant people solving one problem after another. It really all comes down to this. Without that fundamental shift from a power-guzzling tube to a thin plane of light, the powerful computer that's sitting in your bag right now, it just wouldn't exist. The LCD wasn't just a better screen. It was the unseen revolution that made all of modern computing possible.